The Great Ponyville Book Fort by Runic Treetops. The sound of your footsteps echo through the grand halls of the Castle of Friendship. It was only a few short weeks ago that this place came to be, and a lot has happened in that time. Twilight wasn't too keen on living here at first, but with the help of her friends, like you, she was able to slowly become a bit more comfortable. That being said, you still get the impression that she would rather have her library. This castle is huge and downright gaudy, so you don't really blame her. Still, it's only fitting that the Princess of Friendship has a castle, right? You walk through the twists and turns of the castle's large hallways, doing your best to mentally map out where everything is. You've been here more than a couple of times by now, but that doesn't make the darn place any easier to navigate. It could take months before you remember where everything is. How does Spike do it? Finally, you come to a stop in front of a grand set of double doors that hang open. Peering inside with a smile, you see Twilight using telekinesis to sort through about a dozen books. Taking a couple of steps inside, you look around at the grand library before you. Rows upon rows of books are stacked high, reaching all the way to the ceiling. There are a few tables and chairs for reading and working, as well as several more bookshelves not attached to the walls, cutting off your line of sight in several places. It's hard to tell if there are more books here than there were at the Golden Oak Library, but this room alone is probably bigger than that whole tree. Twilight mumbles something to herself as she checks the covers of a few books before sorting them on the shelf and removing about a dozen more. With her back turned to you, she hasn't noticed you yet. Seeing this as an opportunity, you tiptoe towards her, being as careful as possible to make as little noise as you can. Sure enough, you manage to make it within arm's reach. Just a little more. Twilight goes stiff as you start to scratch behind her ears, moving only to look back at who her assailant is. When she realizes it's just you, she breathes a sigh of relief before having to catch her breath. You and Twilight have been together for some time, and you know that her weak spot is right there. She whimpers as she practically melts into your hand. After a couple of moments, she composes herself just enough to take a step away with a giggle before turning to look at you properly. "Hi, Nonny. What are you doing here?" You shrug. I had some free time and figured I'd check in on my favourite princess. How's the castle treating you? It isn't without its problems, but I probably shouldn't complain, considering that it came from the Tree of Harmony. I figure I shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. Well, I guess every princess needs a castle. Probably could have used a better location though. How so? Ponyville is where I met all of my friends, including you. Doesn't that make it ideal? Don't get me wrong, I'm glad you didn't have to move away after we lost the library. I'm just saying that the castle sticks out like a sore thumb. Makes the town feel less, I don't know, quaint, I guess. I see what you mean, but there isn't much to be done about it now. I choose to believe that the Tree of Harmony planted it right here for a reason. If you say so, Twi. What are you up to? Oh, just trying to sort the new library. I've been having a lot of books shipped in to replace the ones that were destroyed, so I think I've been having to do a lot of organising and reorganising. Wouldn't it be easy to just wait until all of the books are in? Then you could sort them all at once? Then I'd just have a big mess until they're all here. As if on cue, Spike enters the room, pushing a comically large cart, upon which sits what must be over 100 books. He looks up at the two of you, clearly worn out from getting the cart here, and he pants as he speaks. There's a couple more loads of these downstairs. He takes a moment to wipe the sweat from his brow. I'll go get him. He quickly unloads the cart's contents haphazardly onto the floor. With the cart in tow, he turns around and slowly makes his way back towards what is presumably the front door of the castle. You look at the new pile of books on the ground before glancing at Twilight with a cocky grin. She looks unamused. See what I mean, Twi? Fine. I can at least wait until all of today's books have arrived. Atta girl, you've been pushing yourself too hard lately. Relax. Heh, easy for you to say. The list of things I need to take care of seems to grow with every passing day. I'm not complaining or anything, but right now I just don't have the time to sit still for too long. Not even to, I don't know, actually read one of these books? I can multitask. A blush reaches her face as you call her out. You know full well that she spends a great deal of time reading and is probably overstating how much work she has. You figure that her dramatics aren't intentional though. She tends to get stuck in her own head, and this prevents her from seeing the forest for the trees. You do have a lot of them in here. It's crazy that a castle like this can house such a huge library. I'm certainly not complaining, that's for sure. You know, a castle is partially defined by its defensive capabilities, yes? Well, I suppose castles are more difficult to penetrate than a regular building. Why? Would that mean you could also refer to this castle as a fort? Where are you going with this? Is this room then not a book fort? She looks at you with half-lidded eyes. She's trying to show that she isn't amused by your antics, but you don't really care. No, Anon, my new library is not a book fort. Kinda looks like one to me, Twi. She elbows you in the side of the leg. It doesn't hurt, but you can't help but laugh as she does so. Her cheeks go pink once more. Don't tease me, Nonny. I'm still trying to get used to the castle in the first place. There's no need to make fun of it. You innocently hold your hands in the air. I'm not making fun of it. I'm just trying to make it seem a bit more homely. Well, the Golden Oaks Library certainly wasn't a book fort either. It was a place of learning. The same will be true for this place. You look around at the library. It already looks complete, but with a few hundred more books coming in, the shelves are going to be stuffed. Well, either way, I'm sorry to cut our conversation short, but I have a meeting with Mare in about 15 minutes. I probably won't have time to talk again today, but feel free to stick around in here for as long as you like. She gently grabs you by the shoulders with telekinesis, a motion that you're very used to. Understanding her request, you bend down to give your mare friend a parting hug, and she kisses you on the cheek as you pull away. Good luck, Twi. With a wave and a smile, she trots out of the room. You don't fail to notice the smile disappear as soon as she looks away from you. The poor mare has a lot on her mind right now. Maybe there's something you can do to help with that. The next day rolls around and Twilight, with bags under her eyes and a drink levitating in the air by her side, yawns as she walks into the library. What she sees immediately snaps her awake and nearly makes her drop her cup. Anon, what is this? You smirk at her through the makeshift window. Over the night, you had come up with and executed a plan that was downright silly. With the help of Spike, who currently sits on top of your glorious creation, you made a massive book fort out of the books in the library. Thanks to the massive size of the room and the thousands of books ready to be used there, the fort stands at about 2 stories tall, featuring glorious medieval-style towers on each corner. It has 2 main floors, as well as a roof that has one more tower on top of it, with a flag bearing Twilight's cutie mark proudly displayed above the whole thing. The inside, meanwhile, is about as comfortable and lavish as you could make it, with pillows and blankets galore. The whole thing is really comfortable, with closable windows and everything. You don't get the chance to make things like this all that often, but Equestria has a way of bringing out your inner creativity. It helps that the books were surprisingly easy to work with, and allowed your vision to become a reality. Hey Twilight, check it out! We call it the Great Ponyville Book Fort! Spike's voice rings throughout the now very echoey room. Why did you make this? What did you do to the library? Because it was fun, duh. Come on, Twi, join us. Your offer makes her face palm. Face hoop? Whatever. Anon, this was your idea? Yup. Do you realise how much work it's going to be to put all of these back? Sure I do, and I have every intention of helping you do so when the time comes. But for now, just get in here. It's super comfy. I have more important things to— Twilight! Your sudden increase in volume makes her jump a bit and lock eyes with you once more. You've already learned this lesson, Twi. It's not good to overwork yourself, and I can tell that this castle is only contributing to your stress. Come on, let yourself have fun. Let yourself actually enjoy your new home for a change. With a sigh and a growing blush, she slowly makes her way to the fort, stopping just outside as she looks at your excited face through the window that your head is sticking out of. How do I get inside? Haha, funny story that I probably should have worked from the outside rather than the inside out. Which means I accidentally barricaded myself in the first floor. Spike's fine though. Spike gives her a wave from up above. You should be able to teleport in there, no problem. Seriously, Nonny, do you ever think these things through? I think them through right up until the part where I know I'll have made you happy. After that, I kind of stop paying attention. She sighs once more and shrugs in disbelief as she places her cup on a table outside the fort. Suddenly, she disappears, and a quick flash of purple light next to you tells you exactly where she went. She lands softly on the floor inside of the fort, which is covered in about 3 layers of blankets. The room is lit by what little light is pouring through the windows and a magical lantern that you have hanging from the low ceiling. She looks around at the veritable mountain of softness and comfort you have prepared before noticing a few of the new books that came in yesterday piled in the corner. Spike confirmed for me that you haven't read those ones yet. I figured you might want to do so in here, where it's nice and cozy. Twilight's face goes from annoyed to shocked as the stress that was visible in her expression slowly melts away. Her features soften, and she looks at you, who has to crouch to get around in here, with a warm smile. This is all very silly, Nonny, but I'm touched that you did all of this for me. Only the best for my favourite mare. She closes her eyes and leans forward. Thanks to your crouched stature, she easily reaches your face, giving you a quick, loving kiss. After a moment, she backs off, both of your faces a beet red as she sheepishly takes a few steps back towards the books. Well, would you care to read some of these with me? Absolutely, Twi. The two of you find a nice, soft corner of the Great Ponyville Book Fort, snuggling up against each other. The hours seem to fly by as you read together. Perhaps this castle can be a home after all.
I'm gonna make you mine.